Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. Today we are on lesson number 4, which is the thread of desire. And this is really a powerful lesson. And it's also one of my favorite lessons because for me personally, when I was born and raised in my family situation, I was the youngest of 4 children. And in my world, that meant Mike got all the hand-me-downs. So I didn't really understand what it was like to ask for what I wanted because it was always given to me in terms of hand-me-downs and don't expect very much. So as I grew older, I realized that my desire was tampered in terms of what I really wanted to. And so this lesson was really beautiful for me to be able to step into this idea of expressing what it is that desire is for me personally, and then even on a spiritual level. So lots of fun, very powerful. And let's dive in, shall we? So right away, I'm on, by the way, for me, it's lesson 4 starts on page 41. And right away, we talk about this idea of using the wave analogy. And I love that when it says, the waves delight in expressing what seems to be a unique individuality, yet they carry the common thread of being made the same substance and are truly governed by the same laws of creation. And you're using this analogy to compare us to a wave, and we're a part of something bigger, the ocean, which is the divine. And I love this at the bottom, the paragraph that starts off with, what if you were to consider yourself as a wave arising from the holy mind of God, born of God's infinite desire to expand herself, to express the infinite nature of love and creativity. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. The next page, on page 42, there's a paragraph that starts off with, the goal then of genuine spirituality is to realign the quality of your perception to the mirror, to resonate with, to be in perfect alignment with the perception of your creator, to see with God's eyes. So again, we're coming into complete alignment with divinity, the divine, in our thoughts, our perceptions, our sights, and everything. And it's almost like I often use the analogy, again, we're using a different operating system, right? So the ego has its operating system, the way it thinks, the way it functions. And then we have the divine, we have our spirit's operating system that we can operate from. Further on down the page, on page 42, in the paragraph that starts off there, therefore, in some aspects, the sentence that says, you must make the decision to desire above all things, awakening into perfect remembrance of your union with God. Oh, I love that. Because when I think about my life, that's really what I've wanted without actually expressing it. But that is so true. You must make the decision to desire above all things, awakening into perfect remembrance of your union with God. Ah, love that. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. At the bottom of page 43, I just love the little where the saying says, well, who am I? I am an extension of love and form. I've never been born and I will never taste death. I am infinite and eternal. I shine forth as a sunbeam to the sun. I am the effect of God's love, and I stand before you to love you. Ah, I just love that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Under the again, I'm on page 44 under the heading, the section desire is everything. Again, desire, desire, desire. The paragraph that starts off with a few down, it says, desire is that energy which brings forth all waves of creation out of the depth of the ocean itself. And yet, who among you has not felt conflicted about desire? Who among you has not been taught that desire is evil? Who among you has not been taught not to desire to be great? Who among you has not been taught that the desire for material comfort in some sort is some sort of a blot on the spiritual path? Look well within your soul and see if this is not true. I had to take a breath when I read that one because for a lot of reasons, I have these natural desires I've wanted to since I was a young child. And, things happened in my life and those things weren't showing up. I started to believe, well, maybe I wasn't meant for those desires, even though in my heart, my soul, that's what I really wanted. Right. And so it's just interesting when I read that, it was like, oh, it's like a new opening for me. The ability to be able to really look and embrace my desires and not judge them or think I'm wrong for having them. So I just found that very, very powerful. On page 45, it says, come then to see that desire is not evil. It is not to be feared. It is to be mastered. Mastery is not control. For control, the need to control is an effect of the energy of fear, not love. Mastery of desire comes when you recognize that you are safe to feel whatever wave of desire might come up through your consciousness, because you decide whether or not you will act on it, whether you will bring it into the field of manifestation. The power of choice is the one power that can never be taken from you. Love that. And then I love where it talks down, there's a paragraph that starts off with desire is like the liquid of life, and the sentence specifically where it says, when you block the flow of desire, the petals cannot be nourished. Death begins to occur. Death of the heart, death of the soul, and lifelessness. So I see this often with people, unfortunately, who start getting older in life. They've had a lot of experience and their desire just goes down. And in my experience, my suggestion, if you will, is to never lose desire. We should always have desire, because that is that's what gives us energy, the next thing. And so to me, there's a lot of energy in desire, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. In fact, in my opinion, we should continue to desire as strongly as ever. In my opinion, when you quit desiring, you quit living to a certain extent. And I think that that defines it perfectly. Okay. On the top of page 46, the paragraph that starts off, healing requires the willingness to feel desire, to see it as good, and to see it as holy. Notice it starts off, it says healing requires the willingness to feel desire. It's like, healing? I didn't know we were healing here, but apparently we are. And I think it's amazing that we can use this idea of healing as something that can be helpful, right? So that's beautiful. I love in the middle of the paragraph where it says the only relationship that holds any value at all is your relationship with God, your creative source, the depth of the ocean. Really, really beautiful. And then at the bottom of the page, the paragraph starts off and it says, if you are to be in right relationship with your creator, it is absolutely necessary to correct your perception and relationship with the energy of desire. It begins by releasing your judgment of it in all of its forms. Let go of, release your judgment of all of it in all of its forms. I love that. All right, then we start getting into the primary exercise, which on page 47, releasing judgment of desire. And then start off with a simple question. What do I want right now? Right? And then it goes on to say that desire is coming. It starts off at the bottom of the page. There's a paragraph that starts off and says, desire is coming from a depth of your being that, again, rests right next to the face of God. Right? Pretty powerful stuff. Right next to the face of God. On the next page, page 48, I love this. I say unto you that you have one authority, and is never held within the office of any church or any organization or any one individual. Your authority is the voice for God, is the voice for God that dwells within your heart and within your mind. God is not limited, does not require his children to be limited. For if you would receive all of God would give you, you must decide to raise up and be the grandest wave that you could possibly be. I love that. Be the grandest wave that you could possibly be. For only in so doing do you honor the Creator. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. On page 49. Desire, let's see, where are we at? Oh, the section called Desire links you to the will of God. And goes on to say this idea of what if you decided to honestly embrace that effect as being perfect, innocent, and beautiful? How might your day change if you did not repress awareness? And then it talks about, in this case, sexual desire, but for me, it was just like a bigger expansion of that, if you will. The paragraph that says, why is this important? Well, it goes on, actually in the paragraph that starts off and says, you will notice. It says, we are talking about allowing yourself the living embrace of exactly what energy is moving through your being. So again, we're watching this energy arise within us just to see it, just to notice it, and then we can decide to act on it. And then the paragraph that says, why is this important? And then it says, the sentence that says, you take an innocent energy and turn it into a monster that must be feared at all cost. Again, letting go of feeling guilty about your desire. So I'm going to skip all the way from page 50 to 51. Again, there's good stuff in there, but I just really want to talk about the exercise in desire. And it's very, very simple. It talks about doing this meditation. It says, to do this for 3 or 4 times a week for a few times. And then it goes into the meditation and just simply ask yourself, what do I want? And it suggests putting your hand over your heart and going into that space. And then it just talks about doing it a handful of times, like 6, 7, 8 times, and then put each one on a piece of paper. And then over time, you're going to have 6 or 7 or 8 of these different pieces of paper. And then it says to review those pieces of papers and see what the common theme is in there, so that you can really start to listen to your heart, listen to your soul, see what it is. And then guess what? Then once we let the bubbles start to rise up, then we can take a look at the ones we want to truly act on. And it doesn't mean we have to act on all of them. It's just allowing them to come up, see what the desire is, and then decide and kind of go from there. I love, and I'm going to skip ahead again on page 54 for me, where it just simply says, and I put next to this is funny, when I read it, I put this quote, the only question to ask yourself is, how much God am I willing to receive and allow to be expressed through me? I love that question. How much God am I willing to receive? For me, all of it, and allow to be expressed through me? All of it. Right? So anyways, I think that's it. Powerful chapter, powerful thing. Desire is amazing. I hope you have as much fun with it as I did, and have fun. Just enjoy it, play with it. And we will see you on the next lesson 5, which is the keys to the kingdom. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Take care.